people, East Indian people, Chinese people. They've had thousands and thousands of years to understand, know, master, worship the dollar system. Thousands of years. Every culture either created it, mastered it, manipulates it, or worships it. Those people specifically. You know? Black people, they have like this whole thing towards money, like it's something that they chase, and it's like pride to them. So you see all the majority of the famous African American culture, flaunting it like it's the thing, and it's a good thing in a sense, in a way. The Jewish people have mastered it. They've practically like mastered the credit system. White people have like pretty much created it. The Greeks and all those types of people from back in the day. Chinese people and East Indian people, they've mastered the dollar system in a way, in a lot of ways. Not all of them. There's poor Chinese people and poor East Indians, of course. But out here, there's all kinds of $1 million East Indians in like Canada and Surrey and all over Canada. Probably America too. All these cultures had thousands and thousands of years to do this. We indigenous people in this continent has only been conquered 500-ish years ago. I forget exact, 1492. You can do the math. It's not that long ago. 500, a little over 500 years. And then we indigenous people were only given our human rights in 1921, 1929, one of those years. So that was less than 80 years ago.
Fucking fairly recent, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's like one grandmother ago. Less than one generation ago. So we're far behind in the human evolution system when it comes down to the financial instability or the financial stabilities that we don't, that everyone else has.
I was reading some comment on some shit the other day.
Everyone else is
some
privileged.
White dude was like, if it wasn't for us, I would have still been living in the woods and shit.
That should have been like...
Yes.
And that would have been our way. We would have chose that way in a sense. That's just the way our people are. We wouldn't have like. And there's a lot of tribal cultures that are like that, and they're like that to this day. But at the same time, us, we're not used to the dollar system, at all. Period. And we need. We kind of need, that's one thing that as indigenous people we need to learn it. We have, that's the mission, and that's our mission in life in a sense nowadays, is to kind of catch up. As much as I'd hate to say it, we gotta kind of have to become rich with our culture and our times. There's a lot of our reserves and there's a lot of other tribes that are rich, but for the gist of us, we have no idea what it's like to own a mortgage. Yeah, me too. I've only seen them on TV. I only hear about them, the ones that own casinos. Well, actually, I kind of know a couple of successful natives from back home. A couple of wealthy families.
Oh, I feel like it's harder for us to get anywhere.
Well, it's only because of what I just explained, right? We're like far behind. Less than 100. We've literally been just given our human rights recently, and we were just allowed to be off our reserves here just as of recently too. Yeah. So, and then we were just got out of our residential boarding schools in 1996. With our situation. So that's even, So we're like far behind when it comes to the financial. So a lot of these people have generational wealth, like they come. This is why people are successful and rich, and this is why a lot of them have what we've never had, and we will never understand what it's like to own multi-million-dollar mansions and have properties all over the world and stuff like that, because these people, a lot of them have generational wealth, and we don't. There's no such thing. Our generations are only now, today, us.
Like generations do like if someone's wealthy, like it is most likely because like their parents.
Yeah.
Grandparents and shit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what it's like to be at this very bottom, like at the very bottom of financial,
Food chain.
yeah, food chain,
Crazy.
the bottom of the pyramid.
We're dead as the fucking working class, bro. That's kind of weird.
What are y'all talking about, Myra? Just talking about how far behind indigenous people are when it comes to the understanding of the dollar system. And to top it off too, a majority of Indian people, like indigenous people, we don't give a shit about the dollar. Like we're too giving and we're too sharing. That's kind of in our nature to be like,
Yeah, you're right about that.
Legendary animal.
like we're always trying to share and we're always trying to give. It's like the dollar is like nothing to us. And it will always kind of be that
Anytime I
way.
have money, I'm fucking doing shit for my homies, or I'm fucking getting shit for somebody.
Right? People just assume like you should have shit. It's like, bro, I don't have people to buy me shit.
Yeah. Did it get away from us, Artsy?
Yeah, what was that? The elk? The legendary elk?
I don't know what it was, but it
Man,
must
let me
have
come over
ran
there
away.
and find it. I guarantee I'll kill it.
No, it's gone.
I didn't pop up for me.
That's the
It's
first
probably still in the area. Just focus on the track.
Oh, yeah. Mud runner buck? It's a buck.
Bro, I low-key feel like it could track in real life. For my instincts. So like, what kind of Indians are your people?
Plains,
Real?
Plains Cree, Plains, land, prairie.
Because mine are like southern people, so like we're fishermen and shit.
Yeah, we're hunters. Like we don't. There's not much like fishing stuff on our culture unless we have to. There's a
I
lot
mean,
of-
but we do have hunting and shit over here.
Die! What the fuck?
Oh, it's not true!
Why you shooting me, fool?
Because you got in the way! Where's it at?
No, why is it falling over?
Just ran it over.
It's crazy to think though, this is a one-of-a-kind animal, which is unpredictable. I got the kill. I can just get it.
Found it first, but you know, whatever.
I get the coat.
Just fucking fun gas.
Do y'all want to go hunt a legendary animal?
Because they pop up.
I mean, I can go to Harriet and get a mission from there. Let me go get that very good.
Horse truck.
Wasn't Mara in your stream the other day?
Yeah, yes.
How are you on the whole native pride truth? Are you pretty prideful?
I try to be. I try to be.
I don't know, I really feel like we should be like even alive since they fucking just tried to like destroy our culture, bro.
You gotta understand, the reason why I feel the way I feel is the way I was raised. My grandmother was very cold and she just hated native people in a way. She didn't necessarily hate, but she was very conditioned by the boarding school. Like my grandmother was a full-on Like even to this day, she believes, and I was told this just by my sister a couple of days ago, that my grandmother personally thinks that the boarding school system was a good thing and that they should bring it back. That's how terrible my grandmother's mindset is. So I was raised by this woman, right? She kind of put it in our minds. I was put into boarding school because of this woman. She convinced my mother to do it, and my mother believed in me, so she did it, right? So this is the type of mindset that I grew up thinking. So my grandmother was always kind of like a little insensitive about native culture. She was very colonized. She wanted her white cowboys. She was always like, it took her years to accept her indigenous culture as a thing. She didn't ever like powwows. She never wanted to do any of that native stuff. She was very much proud of her ways, her stern ways, and it took a lot of time for her to get to her own sense to not be that way towards all of us, because it went down on her children, and then her children taught that shit to me and all of us, you know. So I, being in the boarding school, learning that, because you know the boarding school system, its mission was to kill the Indian, save the man. That was the traditional meaning for these boarding schools. It was, you know, cut their braids, strip them from their language, get rid of their native culture. So I'm coming out of that. I've literally been.
They almost did too.
That's exactly what I'm one of the victims of that. To my mind, in the back of my mind, I've always kind of been faintly ashamed of who I was because of an Indian. If I could be anything else, I would be. I always used to think, you know, I was just the one to be black, and I was just the one to be white, and I was just the one to be something else, because I always knew my history was fucking. Oh, this is it. Like, cause I come my location, my home, that boarding school and all that energy over there. It's fucking crazy dark. It's not. It's not the peaceful, prideful, awesome Indian life you would think it is. It's like very. A lot of people are fucking fucked up over there. There's no positivity out there at all. Like, and it's sick. It's sick how terribly negative everyone is.
I mean, that's the same down here too.
You know?
Anyway.
So it's hard to have pride in that type of shit when you're fucking. So I have to kind of find my own shit and find my own way, try to be my own person, but and still try to be proud of who I am. You know, it's a lifelong mission.
Shit, my grandpa went in boarding school too. He fucking ran away when he was like 6, 7.
Yeah, I tried to run away. Tried to run away once.
I'm just thankful I never had to do that shit.
Where the hell are you, Artsy?
Strawberry.
I don't know, since that shit happened to a lot of us, I don't know, it makes me feel like I should be more proud of our culture and shit, because they tried their hardest to fucking wipe us out.
I teach my children, no matter how I feel, I teach my children every day. Or try to teach them to be proud. Yeah, try to teach them to be proud of who they are.
Proud of our ancestry and our heritage.
I have to always remind my daughter too, because I could see my daughter Shaya. She's always uncertain of things now, because she knows too much, and it's kind of scary for me. I have to make sure she's proud of herself, because she's starting to understand too much.
gotta treasure that.
So it's not that I'm not it's not that I'm ashamed, but there was a time where I was. There was a time where I was. I used to not be so happy of being from the res. I mean, imagine sitting there as a young Indian, poor Indian kid, and then you're watching movies like Home Alone. You know?
Yeah.
Like I envied all kinds of stuff like that. Like I wish I had like that shit.
I started learning or getting into like our culture and stuff when I turned like 11 or 12 and I started finding God.
You know one thing, too. It's so tacky because there's so many different indigenous tribes. That's one thing we need to kind of have a. We need to kind of just look at ourselves as. A lot of us look at each other differently, and there's tribes to this day that do not coexist, and our history has been terrible. Like I think every tribe has its history with another tribe at some point, and there's always something, and it's retarded. There's Indian politics, and there shouldn't ever be. There should never, in our condition, in our world right now, there shouldn't ever be tribes against tribes or indigenous culture against another indigenous cultures, and there is. And it's fucking crazy. We all look at it, they segregate us and separate us from different reserves, and we don't look at each other like we're the same. We all look at each other like we're different, just like everything, just like everyone else in the world. They divide us so it's easier for them to conquer us, you know, and we indigenous people are just as, you know, uninherently unfortunate because of that as well, because we all look at each other as tribal people and we all separate ourselves and we're taught that way, you know. So it doesn't matter what fucking Indian you are, you're not my type of Indian. You know, we're not the same, blah 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 blah, this, that, and the third, and before you know it, we don't fucking coexist with each other.
I know it's even like that in public too. If you see someone you know they're not from your tribe and give them like a look, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When I go,
anyway, I don't even mean to do it on purpose. It just happens.
like,
Does that really stem from like how the tribes didn't get along back in the day?
it's hard to say.
I think the tribe that gets the most hate are fucking Cherokees.
There's a couple of sellout tribes that literally sold out other. There's tribes out there that have given up and have worked for settlers and have killed and have helped kill and have helped kill other Indians. Like literally, like worked for the federal government and, you know, posted up and helped shut down other tribes. There are fucking terrible Indian tribes out there. I hate to say it. So, sellout tribes.
I don't know, I always see fucking white people in the comments arguing like, y'all were fighting each other way before we got here, y'all were fucking eating each other too. Like there's cannibal tribes and shit. And it's like, yeah there are, but you're fucking trying to make it seem like we're all like that, bro.
Yeah.
That fucking pisses me off more than anything when white people try to argue and they fucking group us together. You know?
They eat each other too.
Yeah.
They'll fucking eat each other too.
Like, I know they'd be mad if I said, like, if you said fucking all white people are the same. Fucking American, same as the fucking Swedish person.
Yeah. Ooh. This rifle actually kind of shoots good.
I know fucking British people hate being compared to fucking Americans.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just one of the things that fucking irks the fuck out of me. I'm trying to keep us all together.
Mentally, us native people, we need to find a way to coexist together, so we can have our own and run our own businesses now, and everything else. But it's a long road ahead of us. Like I just finished saying, we just literally got our human rights here less than 100 years ago, so we got a long way to go. Hopefully, because we're in such a progressive and innovative time, it wouldn't take us so long. You know, it shouldn't,
I mean,
because
are we that caught up ahead though?
one thing I know for sure is they keep us dependent, and they don't allow us to have actual independence. They don't want us to be fully independent, so they give us so much handouts to the point where we're comfortable, you know, a lot of ways, especially in Canada. Indigenous tribes are given a lot in a lot of ways so that we're comfortable. Oh shit.
Game crash, bro.
Mine too.
These white people hearing us talk, bro. They don't want it.
Maybe it's because of me.
All bitch ass niggas is listening to you, bro.
It's because of the conversations.